Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center, and thank you for joining me up here on the elevated platform of living, where your music and the world of magic and miracles live. It's the place where your perspective of everything is at a much higher vibration, and it's also the big welcome to your magic and miracles. I call out to everyone as family, our family. By now, you must realize the importance of your presence as the charter members of this emerging industry of magic and miracles. And as charter members with firsthand information, we cannot help but be the bearer of good news and good times that are coming via Swiss Indo and so much more. Our advanced intelligence opens our vision. It also opens the door to freedom. And without infinite trust, there is no freedom. And with infinite trust comes freedom. Or freedom comes with infinite trust. It's all wonderful. I read this once before, and when I read it this morning, I said, I have to share this again. So here is a transmission from Simeon on January 1st, 2011. Good morning. This is Simeon coming to you from the outer reaches of the universe, bringing you energies to support your day and to take you further into the world of your Creator. The essence of everything around you is dancing to the music of the universe, and this music is what will free the world. It is not the serious nature of man that will free the world. It is the lighthearted feeling of the spirit that will free the world. A transmission has started, and it will grow very, very quickly into the lighthearted being that you are. The picture that has been held for so long will now open up to the one that everyone knows. All the events to allow this to happen are in place, and although its focus is in finance at the moment, it is the joy and the lightheartedness and the happiness in the elevation of spirit that will change the world. It is now time for you to reveal this focus and show that it is a center of all things in the essence of who we are. Like many other things in the physical world, the real controlling factor has been hidden. It is the natural music within each being that has been suppressed. And the natural music is your spirit in its real form, elevated, excited, and bouncing with joy. It sounds like a baby. These sensations jump to the surface naturally when the pressure is taken off. Show that this is the case, and the relieving of the pressure will not be the focus. The excitement will be the only focus. You are very close to seeing this happen throughout the world. Join with it and feel the excitement before it appears. Know that it's there and join with others to burst the bubble and bring forward the natural world that exists throughout nature, but mostly through the spirit of humanity. Know that you bring this to the world in such a way that it cannot be ignored. We are with you always. Your loving friend, Simeon. And We are very close to seeing this happen. For weeks, you have heard me speaking about UN Swisindo and the promises made to the world. This past Thursday, we had a very special guest at our Swisindo meeting, Kimari Tater, I think. She has a very top position at UN Swisindo, and Kimari told us it is happening. I learned so much, and everyone present was thrilled at every point she made. We are the ambassadors. We only talk to the yeses. That's perfect. Our only work as ambassadors is to gift the message to the world. Build and create where your heart wants to be. This is an intelligence operation. And here at the Advancement Center, we know that it is your advanced intelligence. Sometime in the future, all people will understand. But that's why we're only talking to the yeses. Now, Honorable Bapak, or as we've been calling him, M1, is still in prison. But you know, stranger things have happened because his being in prison has made all of this public. Everyone in the world is aware of what is happening. And as he says, there's a reason for everything. Now, remember what I told you about taking care of every man, woman, and child on the planet? Well, it's beginning. And it's beginning in Indonesia, Sumatra in particular. As a matter of fact, she referred to Indonesia as the belly button of the world. All the debts have been cleared. Projects will be funded, and people will be supported. So that's happening in Indonesia. But just this week, 6 diplomats from Ecuador arrived in Indonesia. They have been practicing their diplomatic etiquette, I guess, for 2 years in preparation and have landed there for training and preparation for the inauguration and the transition, because Ecuador is the next location where UN Swisindo will be forgiving the debt. They already did that. Funding the projects and supporting the people. And then after Ecuador will come Laos. So let's see. Now, Kimari, our guest, used the analogy of 2 trains. And this was very visual, and I'm going to use it here. There's one train going north, and it's filled with people who are entangled with special interests. The 1%ers, always networking, pretty corrupt, and activating too many things that are going to harm our future. And of course, no awareness of source. UN Swisindo has been laying the tracks down fast for the train going south. And this train is filled with humanitarians, managing our own wealth. Anything harmful will be lost, and we want everyone to be helped. good water, good air, good food, and create our surroundings and take care of each other. In other words, teamwork, and also total awareness of source. Now, it came very clear that there's no use on getting on the train going north and arguing, protesting, demonstrating your fury at their inhumanity. Just living and sharing the good news is what is being called for. And this is an important point that I did not know, that immigrants must be in their own home to receive M1 vouchers for basic income. The dreamers, or the ones who were born here, they will be able to get their vouchers here. Now, for all the new people on the call, I welcome you all. I will be telling you about these vouchers, I promise. Now, here's the big thing, is that the governments will be getting their gifts, no longer need to take it from the taxpayer, causing usury, slavery, corruption, thieving, and calling it capitalism. The country has a quota too. They will be getting 138 trillion 990 billion dollars, and leave us taxpayers alone. I love that. That was very important to me. And also, we're watching history. We are sacred witnesses to history unfolding. Now, I'll get back. I just couldn't wait to tell you the good news that it's actually happening. But now I'll go back to the weekly update because I know most of you know the Swiss Indo information backwards and forwards and have been telling the good news to your friends and family. But for those joining us for the first time, welcome. I recommend checking out two websites, swissindo.news, where you will download, here we go. You will download the M1 voucher that I've been speaking about. And it looks like this. Download it, print it out, put your picture right there, and don't sign it, but put your thumbprint on the lower right-hand corner and put it in a safe place, and I will tell you when you can take it to the bank. But the banks have to wake up a little bit more before that's going to work. But it's happening very quickly, okay? And then go down a little bit further on that page in swissindo.news, and you'll find the Debt Burden Liberation Certificate. This is very exciting. And this is what's happening in the world even before the vouchers, because debts are being forgiven. Countries' debts have already been forgiven by M1. And that's what's going to happen when they come together in Indonesia. They have got to sign a peace treaty. Very important. And if they don't, penalty is jail and $1 trillion. So I think they're going to sign. But that's what's so important. Now, yeah, let me tell you about that voucher. The voucher, well, Swissindo says every man, woman, and child will be supported in all their basic needs. And that amounts to every adult receiving $1,200 a month for the rest of their life, to the tune of many, many millions of dollars. And school-aged children up to the age of 17 will be getting $600 a month. So that's pretty wonderful. And they call this God's mission, and it is a mandate. And it's also called Payment Plan 1 through 11. So I've just told you about two of them, the voucher and the debt burden relief. And these payments, 1 through 11, are intended to be for the protection of all people and their inalienable human rights, especially the weak or vulnerable, and for the protection of each country, both national security and the protection of the physical earth occupied by each country, the air, water, and all life. In other words, the environment we live in. And just as I was going through hundreds of papers, I found this and I couldn't resist it, because Robert Young said, but now we are much more precise, because we know if we look at ourselves, it's in our world and we are the creator of our world, and we don't create rubbish. We honor everybody's effort to do exactly the same in their own pattern, and honor the fact that everybody is different. And we also honor and respect the beauty of every being and what they bring to this world and to others. And the fact that sometimes we closed off too much to see the scope of what someone offers, we brand it as disturbance, where in fact, it may be the most brilliant delivery into the world you've ever seen. And there is no need for you to change anything, but there is a need for you to observe the change so that it may be solid and physical reality. Every person will experience this change, and each one will observe something different that will add to the matrix and develop the complex reality necessary to provide simplicity in everyone's life. Relax and enjoy the calmness of the flow as it massages your body and allows you to perform perfectly in your role in the physical world. Today, we will finish hearing chapter 1 of There Is Another Way, and it's so important for the world. You also have the perfect Christmas gift to share. There is another way to those special people on your list, or perhaps the gift of a broadcast. So now, there is another way. And I don't have the book here to show it to you, but I'm sure you know it. Last week, I ended up with the sentence of problems and negativity are no longer supported in the universe. And today, linear activity and logic were developed by humanity for a specific specific purpose. When non-linear thinking and random action were behind the capability of the average person, we now find that our capability with a multifunctioning, nonlinear, multidimensional world is way beyond even our own expectations. Linear logic, which is based on action and reaction, is now outdated and has become a very small part of our individual worlds. The configuration of modern society has both success and failure, but its outcome is predominantly failure if it is not propped up by the massive energies of humanity. This is starting to amplify the reaction of people and overstimulate the need to get rid of the old and corrupt system and replace it with something better. The amplification of the reaction is, however, a linear action-reaction situation that can only end up in disaster. This linear logic is not supported in the universe. If we stand back and watch, we will see it all starting to disappear from lack of attention and maintenance, and it will gradually follow the path of nature and return to its basic form so that it can be reborn into something new. There is no need to wait for the deterioration and rebirth because we have a multidimensional world available to us where our capabilities are far beyond anything we practice at the present time. And the fortunate thing is that we need no training or qualifications to demonstrate our capabilities. The force of logic is nothing compared to the drive of our universal being, usually referred to as our spirit. Once our spirit is roused, there is nothing that can put a stop to its movement, and it has no concern for success or failure in any form. It is a power beyond consideration that takes no notice of anything and, in fact, dissolves anything that disturbs our personal perfection. The fact that it is short-lived does not mean that this brilliant solution to all problems does not exist. It just means that it is part of the unknown that appears in the physical world and cannot be defined or controlled from the physical plane. It can, however, be available to us in every moment if we dare to allow the phenomena. The mystery that follows is exactly what we have come here to demonstrate, and exactly what will take over the excitement of the world and bring a whole new existence through the reformatting of the electromagnetic field that supports our reality. All this may sound a bit way out, but behind it all, there is a feeling of excitement and that hidden question, what would it be like if all this was possible? The answer is beyond belief, exquisite, to say the least, and the practical steps to achieving the impossible are readily available, even though they exclude logic, take no notice of what the world may demonstrate, and deal with the mystery of magic and miracles. I find that I have too many papers. I have received so many thank yous for Robert's all-day retreat in Vallejo, California, where people gathered together and Robert spoke about self-healing. This was in 2011, and I've been reading the transcription, and it's been quite a journey from CD to a mechanical transcriber to sorting out the English. And it has been a joy. And last Friday, or this past Friday, David wrote something that was just the perfect introduction to self-healing. And here it is. And he calls it Behind the Wheel. Just as you sit behind the wheel of your car, you also sit behind the wheel of your body. As you drive your car, you can recognize that you are in control of an amazing miracle of creation, operating independently while at the same time operating as one. Many times, your car just needs to know that you are aware of it and are paying attention to its signals, and it will operate flawlessly. It's fairly easy to feel that you are operating your car as a separate extension of yourself. However, it takes a different level of awareness to feel that between you and your body, you are peering out of your body's eyes onto the physical world. And you are absolutely separate as you look out from your multi-dimensional existence, observing the world of matter and form and all of the joys that it brings, different textures that you can feel, the density and shape of all the different items that appear in your field, the smells and the sounds that you can taste and hear that come from the movement of atoms bonding together to create these gifts to the senses. It's the gift of a lifetime to be able to inhabit these bodies in order to experience all that is in the world of matter. If you can stand back from your identity with the body and admire it, just as you do with the car you are driving, you will be able to fully appreciate all the places that it takes you and all the experiences that you get to have. Then you will no longer be operating by the old rule of the road for you, will be living. I'm going to say that one again. Then you will no longer be operating by the old rules of the road, for you will be living life from the new world, where you are magnificent and free. Have fun and enjoy the ride. Thank you, David. And continuing with self-healing, we begin. When we talk about a simple thing like infinite trust, the whole lot comes in, and there is no need for explanation. There is no description. There is no anything except that infinite connection, which is trust. So when you brought up the fact that we used to lose our password, it was very effective to actually show you that that's what was happening, because without your brain seeing that, it wouldn't allow you to connect. And once it allowed you to connect, you were suddenly a whole different being to what your brain knows. And in talking to that being, it is quite a different aspect. And it's that being that will lead the way. It has done and always will, particularly at this time when it promised to be here and to bring everybody to a place that's known and has been known throughout the ages to be a place of perfection. And even though they say 1,000 years of peace, we'll never have a war again. So it's 1,000 years recorded. But after that, it just won't be recorded because it's not even going to be in our field. There'll be no comparison to anything else except the perfection of who you are because of the realization, not inside you, but the realization that holds you all to that being that can't be described. And this is what you all expected, and all we've done is push past a little tradition, that's all. And the little tradition said, you cannot show yourself until the right time. So the beautiful flow that you feel is permanent. It's not just today. It's permanent because you are not who you expected to be. Lately, Simeon's been saying regularly, everything is not as it seems. And I'm saying, everyone is not as it seems. So you will notice now that there is no thought of how to define that. There is no thought of how big that is. There is no thought of what to do. There's no feeling of anything but, oh yeah, because we haven't done anything except say, we can see one another, and we can see one another in the format that has no limitation, that has respect beyond anything we could imagine, and that can withstand everything that's to happen in the world, in the universe, and in the transformation of every one of us. All the things happen around you from today on, you'll just look at and say, well, that's interesting. There will be no struggle because you know that's not part of you at all. And the only thing that you will really have to come back to is infinite trust, so that you don't lose that infinite picture that describes every part of you. So what we do in our physical world will be led totally, because we've left our notebooks back there and said, read them out to us as we go. They're all on our own instructions. We'll get them through a means that is not disturbed in any way. They'll be clear and concise, and there will be no shock. And all the various things that happen to you, some people will realize that they are from totally different realms from what they're in at the moment. And they'll start to be seeing those very regularly and say, well, that's good. At least you're here. There'll be a point where you can really show yourself. But the major thing is that you're here in the feeling within your heart to know the infinite you that is beyond infinity, and beyond that again, defined as trust. So we've just answered a question that closed the book on many things, to realize that you do have these questions, and they will make a difference. Every question from here on will close a book and allow you to be exactly not the person, but exactly the being and the entity and the feeling and the whole lot that you know. And the deficiencies that you feel in the world will change because of you. And you might find at times you're not doing anything. And other times you'll look at yourself working at 100 miles an hour, and you will be going to places that totally rock you. You will come out, shake yourself down, and carry on. We're all capable of that, but it won't be a struggle. The time you'll struggle is if someone holds you in there. Don't be surprised if you explode, because you cannot leave where you are now. It's impossible. And someone in the background said, "No turning back." And then Robert said, "And it won't be long before you have no idea where to turn back to." So even the things that you did during the day will be different, and you will actually find yourself recreating even the mundane into something that's totally beautiful. And you'll look at it and wonder, how the hell did you do it? Because that's who you are. That's who every one of you are. And each one of you has a sense of who you will support. And it will light up the light bulb, just like in the cartoons. Oh, that's because that's who you are. Okay. I lost my place for a bit. Okay. I just said because that's who you are. That's who every one of you are. And each one of you has a sense of who you will support. And it will light up, as you see in the cartoons. Someone sees something, and that big light bulb comes on. It will be just that clear. So don't be surprised if every turn you take, a new light bulb comes on. If you stay as you are now, you will have so much fun with it, because the next step is not for you to do something, but for someone or something to appear, to complete what you can see. That's working with the infinite. It would just happen with that total infinite trust. You will step further than you can possibly see and create this massive vacuum that is filled immediately and displayed to you in the world. So working in the infinite is a form of creativity that induces magic beyond belief. Induces. So don't have to explain any of that to any one of you. You're all experts. Every little thing we do, taken into infinite trust, is permanently programmed to blossom. And you never have to worry about it again. You never have to even speak it. But you will find you have to speak the infinite trust, because that is a key that was given to you to see through wherever you are, anytime in your life, here or any other place, from here to infinity. So we are universal beings. We are infinite. And we talk about reincarnation and all sorts of other things. As soon as you say infinite trust, it's just another fancy thing that's happening in that line. So if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't happen, it won't even matter. Because in a cycle that you've set, and each one of us is not focused on that at all. We're only focused on the infinite. Process and procedure will float in and out from time to time, but you live as you live now for all eternity. And your ability right throughout the universe is so simple to you and so enormous that you cannot describe it here, but you will bring it into effect. It's no small item. And you didn't just come here to help. You came here to change not just the world, but the whole progress of life in the universe. This past Friday, I have something in my eye. Sorry, one moment, please. Okay. This past Friday, I asked Robert for a title for this broadcast. And he said, without a blink of an eye, another chance. I immediately went to youngsite.com and searched for another chance. You know, you can do this too with any subject just by going to youngsite.com. 4 wonderful writings magically appeared. This intrigued Robert, and he was able to tap into an old hard drive we had brought from Australia and printed some treasures. That night at dinner, Robert shared, and we were thrilled. He read his CV or his resume to us as our eyes got larger and larger as we heard the unbelievable accomplishments of this one man. Then he read the first chapter of a book he was writing, and it's entitled, Here You Are. And now I will share it with you. Chapter 1. Here you are, back where you belong in the world of magic and miracles, looking from where only you can look and experiencing something totally unique, even in your own personal environment. The start of everything is at the beginning, and the greatest advantage you can have is to start ahead of what is generally considered to be the beginning. What you miss in the beginning will always be encapsulated in what follows, and the extraction of what you might need is no longer necessary once you step past the process of learning. Humanity is the custodian of all prosperity, and the learning process is part of that prosperity. It is not necessary to repeat the process once the prosperity is established and made available to the overall entity. In the animal kingdom, there have been many unique observations that have been turned into a theory to describe the interconnected function of a particular species. One of the best known at this point in time is the 100-monkey theory. This proven observation states that once a critical point of learning or habitual process is achieved by a group of monkeys in one part of the world, that same learning or habitual process becomes a natural asset to monkeys in every other part of the world. This happens instantly with no obvious interaction in a physical sense, which proves that there is a connection within each species that provides access to the advanced learning of the particular species. Similar theories about humanity have been explored for academic purposes, but the general consensus excludes such things when considering the preparation of people as part of human society. Humanity itself is not a society and is not limited by rules and activities that are required as a society. The power of humanity itself has been forgotten, but it is not lost simply because its members do not recognize their connection. Humanity is the overall entity that contains many different groups and species throughout the universe, and, like the animal kingdom, has many special connections and powers that are distributed to all groups as it advances and learns from the actions of the minority groups. Humanity exists as a world of magic and miracles that provides the impossible to its members and allows advancement simply because there has been advancement somewhere else in the universe. The joy of this unique and impossible advancement is in the hearts of many, but there is no consideration of position, age, or knowledge when it comes to administering advanced skills to the individuals throughout the universe. We are all humans, and monkeys of all types are still monkeys. As such, we are all entitled to the heritage and power of our particular species. Forgotten or not, we still experience the connection and can rise above our individuality whenever our spirit finds it necessary. What a wonderful find. Thank you, Robert. For those of you who were on the call on Wednesday, Genya was so eloquent and so beautiful in telling or retelling what Robert had shared with us. And he said, we're in the new world. And the way you do it is so simple. You just take the plug from where you've been and plug in to your creator. And there you are in your new world. That was so beautiful. And thank you, Adrian, because you made a clip of that. And if anyone wants that clip, I'd be happy to send it to you. But now, remember the monkeys in another part of the world? I was online with Swiss Indo meeting this past Thursday. And what do you think they spoke about? Unplug from the old and plug into the God source. I went, what? I just heard that. See, it's happening throughout the universe. And if one of us advances, everyone else can. If one gets over the fence, everyone can get over the fence with the proper support and love and encouragement. So now I'm going to read David's wonderful poem called Unplug. There's a world we have known and a life we have lived, a perfect illusion. Inside a fence, it is hid. Full of technology and knowledge, expanding every day, a biosphere of perfection that kept you in its play. It's a great contradiction that we have always felt. Sometimes you want to stay, and sometimes you just want out. We naturally try to fix. No one can really understand that when you try and make a change, you're still running the program. It's like everything is red and you want to make it blue, but that's also part of the program that was created just for you. To keep us in the cycle, the never-ending loop, there is no way to fix something that was made to be foolproof. It's a genius in its design, hiding the truth right in front of you. There's a hamster wheel for you to ride on, whichever path you choose. The power station for this system runs to full capacity with generators and computers, creating everything you need to stay plugged into this world that was created for mice, to keep you running in circles, not being aware of your own light. This program is running perfectly. There is nothing to fix, but you have the power to make a grand exit, to unplug from the receptacle that has always had your name, that has kept you in the loop, that has kept you in this game. Plug into the new receptacle that has your true identity. In this new world, you will find yourself in all your majesty. You will feel all the rules fall off. Your thinking will change. Your vision will be different. Nothing will ever be the same. The feeling is incredible. To be detached from this machine, no longer on the hamster wheel, a brand new world is seen. It's hard to unplug from your old way of being, from the system that produced the false reality that you're seeing. There's a comfort built in from a million years of trust. Makes us all feel so comfortable each day from dawn to dusk. But the new world has no problems. All the shackles have been removed. It feels like there's a completion. And now you're free to choose. I'm here to shine the light on this system at its core. It's not for you to fight against, but simply ignore. The door is now open. Take my hand and move right through. Unplug from the old and plug into the new. That's it. That's all you have to do. And people in all parts of the universe will get your transmission. To be able to share this with you is my joy. Thank you for joining me today. And I do wish you a perfect life, perfect health, and an amazing, magical future. Thank you.